Hey everyone, welcome to Storyteller's Handbook, and today we're going to talk about 10 steps for you to direct a play, part 1. Hey everyone, Jewel Brown here, director, actress, author. I have a BFA in Theatre and Drama Studies from a university conservatory program and over 10 years experience in theatre. I am also the author of the new adult novel, The Refining. So you're going to be directing a play. Congratulations! I have broken it down for you into 10 steps to get you from the beginning all the way to the end. So let's get started. Step number 1 is choose your script and your budget. The beginning of any play starts with a script. So you can go one of two ways. Number 1, if you decide to produce a script that's already been written by someone else, odds are there's some copyright associated with that script and you'll have to apply for the performance rights. There's some information that you'll need as part of your application process, including information from step 2 and 3 of this video, so keep on watching for that. If you decided to produce a script that you've written or someone that you know has written and they've given you the rights free and clear, then you're going to want to allot at least 3 months to edit and re-edit your script. Now, a great play starts with a great script. A lot of first-time theater directors and producers write their own script. They have no idea what they're doing, and if you don't take the time to edit your script, no matter how hard you work on your show will not be good if you do not start with a great script. The script is the foundation of the house. If the foundation is cracking, the whole house is coming tumbling down. So once your script has been completely written, beginning to end, and you think, this is it, I have my script, I'm ready to produce it, then you start the clock, and 3 months later, after editing and re-editing, that's when your script will probably ready for stage. Not just you editing, but get some other people to look it over. Next is your budget. A lot of time in community or grassroots theater, we have little to no budget, but you still need to determine what, if any, money you are working with. You may have costs associated with your venue, costumes, with set, with props, with if you're paying your actors, if you're paying a choreographer or a music director, if you're doing a musical, if you are paying for tickets or posters to be printed, if you're paying for your actors or your department head. I have another video on the 10 roles you need to fill if you're going to put on a play. If any of those people are being paid, they all need to be part of your budget. So before you go any further, I suggest you determine how much money you have to work with and where you're going to allot those funds. Step number 2, decide your venue and your timeline. Sometimes you pick your venue based on the timeline that you've decided, and so you find a venue that's available for your timeline, or sometimes you have a venue that you really want, and so you pick your timeline based on when that venue is available for you. Some things to consider when you're dealing with timeline and venue are other events that are happening in your city. Huge theater festival or film festival happening. Even things like big sporting events may reduce the venues available in your area. That might mean venues in your area are more expensive. That might mean you're going to get a lower turnout for audience. Also keep in mind weather. I live in Canada, and so doing shows in the middle of winter, I've had to almost cancel entire shows because a snowstorm has happened. If you have a rainy season, if a windy season, what's the point of doing a show if the weather's so bad that no one comes out? When you're also thinking about venues, you can also talk to the theaters in your local area about their off time. So off seasons for theaters, often they are sitting open. They're willing to do a reduced rate. They're willing to give you maybe some days free for rehearsals, but you also need to consider your entire timeline for your show. So working backwards, you're going to have your performances. Then you're going to have 1 to 2 weeks of tech week. Then you have 1 to 2 weeks of run-throughs where you're running through the entire show in a rehearsal setting. Then before that, you have your actual rehearsals. Now, the rule of thumb is 1 hour for every 1 minute of your play. Or if the other rule of thumb is approximately 2 hours per 1 page of script. And then you'll know how many weeks of rehearsal you're going to need to schedule. About a week before rehearsal start, you're also going to have your first read-through. About 1 to 2 weeks before the first read-through, you're also going to be communicating with your cast about availability and building your schedule for the entire time. Then before you get scheduling, you need to do your casting. So you're going to need between 2 to 6 weeks for auditions, depending on if you're doing a musical and you're doing an acting audition, singing audition, dance audition, you may do a callback. If you're just doing a play, you'll need an audition, but you still might need a callback later on. And then of course, before your auditions, you actually have to advertise your auditions, which could take anywhere from 2 to 6 weeks. And then before you schedule auditions, obviously you have your time to write your play, edit your play, or apply for the performance rights if it's a published play. So if if you add all that together, the entire timeline of your show might be anywhere from 4.5 months, sometimes a year. So start backwards, right? And then you'll see exactly how long you need. Step 3 is to hire your assistant director and or stage manager. Now, before you go into auditions and callbacks and rehearsals, you're going to need your team. At the very least, you're going to need your stage manager, who will keep you on track, who will keep your actors organized, and who will be your administrator for the entire production. If you are going to have an assistant director, you're also going to want to look for them now as well, so that before you go into your auditions, you have them with you in the auditions, helping you to view your talent and make your decisions. Now, depending on if you're also going to be hiring or finding the rest of your creative team, meaning head of props, head of costumes, set design, you're welcome to find those people now, or at least start looking for them. They can already start to brainstorm and work with you as you go through this process of your timeline. Step 4 is to cast your show. So you're going to be holding auditions, whether it's an open call or schedule auditions. I do have a video already about how to host auditions with a lot more detail. And this is, for me, one of the most exciting times of the whole production, because it's the first time where you get to involve other people in your show. You get to build the excitement for this project that you've had in your head for so long. Finally, other people are buying into and investing in your vision for this project. Another great thing to have in your auditions is the actual schedule. I never do auditions for shows unless I have the complete schedule ready to go. It's a detailed schedule in that it'll tell you the days of the week there's rehearsal and the times of day there are rehearsals. And it'll tell you exactly when tech week is. It'll tell you when the show dates are. It won't tell you what scenes you're rehearsing on what days, because that's what you'll do after you get your actors' availability. So once you cast your show, then you'll talk to actors about which of the rehearsal days they're available and which they're not. And then you'll look at who's playing what character, what scenes they're in together, and how to break down your rehearsal schedule. But just know it's best to have at least the bones of the schedule ready, so that when actors are coming in for their auditions, they know right away, these are the days I'm going to be needed, and if I'm going to be out of town, otherwise occupied, busy with work, let me not even waste their time or my time by auditioning when I know I can't do the show. So that's a key thing you're going to want to have at your auditions. And step 5 for directing a play is your first read through. The first read through is such an exciting time because it's the first time all the actors and the creative team get to meet each other. And especially because throughout the rehearsal schedule, there may be some actors who don't see other actors because they don't have scenes with them. So you might meet a fellow actor at the first read and never see them again until you start doing run-throughs. And most importantly, it's the first time everyone is going to hear the script read by the people playing the characters. Now, you can choose whether you give them their script for the first time at the read-through, but I've also been in productions where the director decides to give the scripts out beforehand. Another thing I'll say is some directors charge for their scripts. Don't do that. If it costs you $3 plus $2 for a binder to give your cast the script, it's just in good taste to provide the script for them. So I'm talking about unless you've paid for the script and it costs like $20 per script and you have a cast of 40, fine. But if you're going to give people photocopies in a binder, 100% just cover the cost yourself. And I always suggest best that if your script has a hardcover, because actors need to hold their script in one hand while they have one hand free to play. Do not bind your script. If it's in a book, they can't take a page out. If I'm only doing a scene with one page, I can hold the one page. And if there's any edits or changes that you make to the script, how do I take a page out and add a page in? A binder with a hardcover, again, so that they can easily hold the binder with one hand. It's just better that it's in a loose binder. You may think it's unprofessional, but it's actually the best way. Your heads of department will also be at your first read. Each department will start to present their ideas. Now, they would have talked to you about their ideas beforehand. You don't need anybody going rogue on you. Have pictures printed out in color, or have an iPad that you can flip through so people can start to see your ideas for costume, your ideas for set, your ideas for props. They need to know if they're going to be mic'd or not. Actresses need to know, am I in a dress or am I going to be in pants? You know, envision me in heels. You envision me with this huge headdress. The other thing is props. You know, am I going to have a huge machine gun? Is it going to be a handgun? These are all things you need to bring to the read through. Not only does it inform the actors, but it gets them excited. You don't have any heads of department and it's all you. Just bring your ideas with you. Allot some time in your read through, not only to read through the script and for meet and greet and to have some refreshments, also some time for them to stay back after and chat and mingle, but have some time for question and answer. When you're doing your read through, 100% the actors need to look at each other, and then you get actors reading like this. I don't understand. How could you do this to me? It's not effective. And it's not a race. Read your lines. Look at your character, whoever you're talking to, and deliver the line to them and have that person looking at you, receiving the line from you. This is why we're here. It's to actually give and receive to each other. And then you as the director need to have your eyes peeled, watching the interactions. We're here to hear the lines and feel the emotions and feel the hurt and the pain and the guilt and the happiness and the joy and the tears and the laughter that we're going to give each other. So I suggest you say it. I suggest you remind it. I suggest you stop them every once in a while. You have to and say, guys, look at each other. When it happens, it's magical. It's like the whole room just comes alive. And then you have your other fellow actors. Nobody should be looking at their scripts. They're all reading and following along. Why? Look up. The stage manager should be the only person looking down and reading along. And then they can help if they say, okay, Tim, it's your line. And you're going to get such a better quality of read through because everyone is communicating with everyone. I'm telling you, if you take the time to make this clear to your actors, you'll get inspired. You'll start to see things will start to turn in your mind because of the connections that people are making. The other important thing that you need to do at your read through is set expectations. I have a video on the intro to directing a play. There's a lot of expectations I talk about in that video, so you can go through and look at that. But you need to set expectations for what actors and department heads can expect at rehearsals. Whatever your rules are, whatever your guidelines are for rehearsal, set them in the read through. Well, that's it for part 1 of 10 steps on how to direct a play. If you like this content, please consider subscribing and hit that notification bell. And please comment below on other content that you would like to see. Thanks everyone. See you next time.